Yeah. Last time we were looking at Bhagavad Gita, um, chapter 2, verse 14. And the subject of that sentence, what it was describing, was the matra sparsha, the kind of material contacts, the contacts from the material elements. In this verse 15, you see I'll call it up in a moment, you'll see the ete, yang hina vyatayantiete purusham. The ete is a masculine plural nominative of ayam, meaning this, so these. So the ete refers back to the sparsha, the matra sparsha that was discussed in the previous verse. So I'll read it through once and then share screen and call it up. Yang hi navyatayantyete purusham purusharshbha samaduhka sukhandhirang sumritatvaya kalpate. Share screen now and call it up. Okay, do we have a shared screen with a blank iPad at the moment? We do, good. I'll read it again slowly. Yang hi navyatayantyete purusham purusharshbha samaduhka sukhandhirang sumritatvaya kalpate. This contains the classic and most usual form of relative construction. In English, we would say the person, okay, that's the subject of the person whom these contacts do not distress is fit for immortality, or something like destined for immortality. In Sanskrit, and it's exactly the same in Pali as well, it's which person these contacts does not distress, he is destined for immortality. Now, it looks to the English eye and the English understanding a little bit peculiar. But in fact, we do use exactly the same construction in English. We can't say which person these contacts do not distress is fit for immortality. We don't put it like that. We say the person whom these contacts do not distress is fit for. However, if we just add the word ever, whichever, we can put it in exactly the same way as the Sanskrit does it in the Pali. Whichever person these contacts does not distress is, or he is, fit for immortality. So we do have a similar construction in English. So that's the yam then, meaning whom as a relative or which as a relative. The root vyat, from which we get vyatayati, means the original meaning is to shake, I'm going back to Proto-Indo-European times. The original meaning is to shake. And it retains that meaning in Sanskrit and Pali, but then also has an extended meaning, which I think is probably more common, which means to distress or to torment. So, vyatayanti ete, that's these contacts that were mentioned in the previous verse. These contacts, ete vyatayanti, these contacts cause distress. So, yang na vyatayanti ete, whom these contacts do not distress, meaning the person whom these contacts, these sense contacts, do not distress. The word purusham here, meaning just man, can mean, I think actually originally it was specifically meant a male rather than a female, but I think actually then later on it just came to mean a person. This could have been left out. So yang hinavyatantyete samadukha sukham dhiram sumritattvaya kalpate. That would have made perfectly good Sanskrit. Just as in English, whoever or whichever person. I mean, they mean essentially the same thing. So whichever person ete, these contacts, na vyatayanti, do not distress. Purusharshabha, so this is just a poetic trope. Purusham Purusharshabha. Purusharshabha is just one of the names of Arjuna, or designations of Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita is interspersed with the names, the various names or epithets of Arjuna thrown in. This is the man bull, the bull among men. Samadukha Sukandhirang. These are both adjectives, and they are both adjectives qualifying young Purusham, so they're in the accusative to agree with the accusative of young being, of course, the object of vyatayanti, distress. Samadukha Sukham, literally, the word sama is in fact directly cognate with our English word same, and it can mean like equal or even or just the same. So dukkha we know, sukha we know. So if you are samadukha sukha, it means you are same dukkha and sukha. In other words, pain and pleasure are equal to you. It's kind of the equanimity by which one rises above being distressed. You're not distressed by it. This now, navyatayanti, although the most common meaning has come to be distress, it does appear that in this particular verse, and something that's just dawned on me, that it could retain its meaning of distress, but equally could have its primitive meaning of move or shake. So if you remain unshaken by pleasure or pain, it means you've risen above them both. So I think we could interpret vyatayanti in both ways here. It's more common meaning of distress, or its older meaning, you remain unshaken. They're equal to you. It doesn't matter to you whether you like it or not, whether you get pleasure or pain. So samadukha sukham, for whom pleasure and pain, for whom pain and pleasure are equal. Dhirang, just wise. It's from the root di, meaning it, meaning mind and thinking, and this is the root di with the common adjectival suffix ra. So dhira means possessing a mind, or therefore possessing a good mind, therefore wise. And by an extended root from the dhya, we get words like dhyana, which is, of course, jhana in Pali, is from that same root. The origin, it just meant fixing the mind on something. So he is correlative then with yang. So yang na vyatayantiete, whom these things do not distress or move, so he amritatvaya kalpate. He is fit or proper for immortality. This root clip, written as a K subdotted L and P, the original primitive meaning was something like to arrange or to set in order. Let me just call up. We'll dwell on it a moment because it's very interesting and much used root. Let me just call up Monia Williams on the subject. Sorry, I've forgotten how to do the subdotted L in the electronic form that this. Oh. Silly me. There's a way of doing in the way of inputting into the electronic dictionary, into the electronic search pane, the subdotted L, but I can't for the life of me remember how to do it. Oh, we might have to come back to that. I'll be able to find it at I'll find it at some stage. But anyway, we'll look at the.
James, can I ask you about the structure of that word amritat vaya?
Yes.
Amrita is immortality, is it?
So amrita
Yeah.
means literally undying, undead,
Yes.
and therefore
And
immortal.
what about the end bit?
Okay.
Amrita.
So the twa is a suffix that makes an abstract noun. So amrita twa means immortality. So amrita, immortal.
Yeah.
Amritatva, immortality.
Yeah.
And this is the dative form, amritatvaya, just the
Oh, yeah.
aya
Okay.
dative
Yeah.
ending. So
I've got it. Thanks.
kalpate means is suited for, fit for. Because if you're fit for something, that takes the dative, which is what we see here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. This is frustrating. Found out how to do it. If you want to input the subdotted L, you put L, then a capital R. That's what you do. here we are. So this is the root, which is either pronounced as a clip or a clip. We aren't quite sure. And it means to be well ordered or regulated or be suitable, and various other meanings. And also then to produce or to cause or to effect, in other words, to order something, to put something in order. So rather than the loose chaos, you put something in order and then create it, bring it into being. And then it includes many kinds of orderings. The same word is used in the causative form, kalpayati, for things as mundane as you kalpayati somebody's hair, you give them a haircut. And kalpayati a meal, you prepare a meal. That's at one end of the scale. At the higher end of the scale, within Hindu cosmogony, the entire known universe is a kalpa, is a root clip, and then verbal noun kalpa, is an ordering, like a mental ordering or mental creation in the mind of Brahma. So the word for ordering then is a kalpa, and then by extension from that word, we have kalpa, meaning an eon. In other words, the entire duration of the visible universe, as representing, as it were, the length of this mental ordering within the mind of Brahma that has created the universe. Chris, can I ask you to step in here to either corroborate or more likely correct what I've just said about the Hindu cosmogony aspect of it?
Yeah, that's fine, James. But I think there's also an association with the breath of Brahma, which is, I forget how many kalpas that is, but that also embraces the, as it were, what modern science would call the expansion of the current universe, and then the withdrawal back into the deity. So it's the breath as well.
Yeah.
Is used to represent the
outbreathing and the breathing, yes, back in.
There's that kind of analogy is drawn.
Okay, and it's the pralaya and the vilaya, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. The pralaya would be the outrolling, the outbreath, coming in, and the vilaya was when it's gradually rolled back into Brahma.
Yes. Corresponding to modern physics and cosmology in the sense of the expansion and then the withdrawal,
right?
Extraction of the universe, something along those lines. But I forget how many kalpas in Hindu cosmology correspond to the outward breath.
Because one kalpa for us is an entire eon, which is a jolly long time. By human standards, anyway. Yeah. But there would be several of those very long kalpas even within one breath, would there?
Yes, I think. Oddly enough, I think, as I recall from some of the conversations I had at the time, I believe that the Hindu cosmology, their model, isn't that in terms of duration, isn't something that can be dismissed. You know, it is realistic in terms of what's known in modern Western cosmology, in terms of the possible duration of the known universe when it expands and then eventually reaches some kind of heat death and then contracts in. But all this is speculation, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, thanks for that, Chris. So there we have it. So this root klip, kalpa, can embrace anything from the mind of Brahma, outpour the universe outpouring from his mind, down to having a haircut. So you would say a root of very, very wide diverse meanings.
James, sorry, could I just, I'm a little bit confused about, could you just, with just before, with Yanti and Et, why does there, is it just a question of Santi? You've got Yata, Yante, Et, and that, does that I and the E, does the I drops and is replaced by a Y? Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what does happen. So if you take the Santi out here, the words on their own, Vyatayanti, Ete. Those are the two words in isolation, as they're written in this third Roman box. What then happens is where you got a word, one word ends in an E, and the next word begins in a vowel other than E or E, which applies here because it begins in an A. So what happens is the final E here becomes a yes. So it's Vyatayanti ete, Vyatayanti ete. It really is as simple as that here.
Right. Could you possibly go up to the Devanagari, because I couldn't see it in terms of
Okay. With the Santi Vigraha, it's here.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I was looking at. Looking at the wrong line.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Vyatayanti ete, but with the Santi you see Vyatayanti ete. It's ntiete.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. Is that clear now?
It is. Yes.
Okay. Right.
In the same vein. Sorry, carry on.
I was just, is it following on from the same point? Because mine was a different one. It was a different question altogether.
It's following on from a similar point. But Purusha Shaba is the change from Purusha Rishabha, is the A and the Risa, the R and the Risa, and is that a standard Sandhi to change to a long R and a normal R?
I was going to ask exactly the same question.
Oh,
Okay, very good. This is standard Sandhi, where you get a vowel. In fact, sorry, where you get an A, and the same applies to a long A actually as well. So Purusha, and then the next word, and here treat for Sandhi purposes, treat as the next word because this is a compound word beginning with the ri, the subdotted ri, then it becomes ar. And I have just realized I have made a mistake which may have thrown you. Have you spotted my mistake in the last word of the first line?
Yes, it's a small R instead of a long R.
It is. It's a short R. My mistake. I misled you, for which I apologize.
And the other line too, yes.
That's right. So, yeah. Welcome, Paula. Welcome. So, Purusharshabha. And so that is standard Santi. Welcome, Paula. Now, it also actually happens with a long R, and there's a word, let me just call up iPad. Okay, so we know, the word which we often pronounce Rishi, we often call it like that, Rishi, which means a seer. That's the first name of our former prime minister. Now, if you have a great seer, some people have retained the two words separately, as in Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. In fact, more correctly, the Sandhi becomes Maharshi. with a short a. So Maharishi becomes Maharshi. Equally, Purusha, Rishabha, Purusharshabha, whether it's a long or a short a. So a or a before the following ri both become ar. And remember also, you probably spotted by now, that the vocalic ri, Purusha Rishabha, the vocalic ri, then morphs into a r in Sandhya. So Maharshi, Purusharshabha, and it morphs into the ordinary consonantal r.
I've got the numbers here for kalpa.
Oh goodness
Shall
me!
Shall I
Okay,
read them out?
carry on.
So we begin. This is under the heading Cycles of Time, and we begin with the Mahayuga. The Mahayuga actually has four smaller yugas in it, but the Mahayuga is 4,320,000 years.
That's a Mahayuga. 4
That's
million.
a Mahayuga. And
That's
then
so how many is a Mahayuga greater than Kalpa or less than a Kalpa? It has to be
unless we're building up to kalpas.
Okay, right. So I thought, hang on, that number is far too small. So okay, 4 million, which in astronomical time we can just about grasp, can't we?
Yeah.
So that's a Mahayuga. Mm-hmm.
And then 71 Mahayuga makes up one Manvantara. And the Manvantara is named for Manu or lawgiver.
That's right. So Manvantara, it would mean an interval of Manu, a Manu interval.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then 14 Manvantaras comprise one Kalpa.
Ah, okay.
And then 2 Kalpas makes 1 day and night of Brahma.
Ah, so there's a day of Brahma is one kalpa, and a night of Brahma is another kalpa.
Yeah, one is the out breath and one is the in breath, I think.
Oh, yes, which is rather like being awakened asleep in breathing and out breathing.
Yes. And then beyond that, we've got, I don't think it's actually got a Sanskrit name. I haven't anyway. But so 360 days and nights of Brahma makes 1 year of Brahma. And 120 years of Brahma makes 1 lifetime of Brahma.
One lifetime of Brahma.
A lot of years.
There's something, I have to say, there's something very inconsistent about this whole idea, isn't there, really? Because if Brahma is breathing out to the universe, then he's breathing out time with the universe, because the universe is that length of time within the breathed out universe. So the idea of a year of Brahma doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? Because he's outside the universe and therefore outside time if he's breathing it out. But anyway, I mean, it's just something that occurred to me.
Is that?
But then these things aren't supposed to make sense rationally, are they?
Well, you could treat them, and I think that there are two approaches. You would have one would be a more kind of like Indian logical approach, where you've got these very precise numbers. And as soon as somebody starts giving numbers as precise as Kath has just been reciting to us, it's presumably not intended figuratively. I mean, they're pretty exact numbers. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, you can take a kind of Zen approach. We aren't meant to understand. We're meant to break our feeble minds against it. So we shatter the little shell around their minds and expand it in a Zen kind of way. I regret that the answer to that question is a bit above my pay grade. I mean, I'm quite happy to sit here and pontificate on Sanskrit grammar, but less confident about the origins of the universe and the Hindu approach to it. I'm quite happy to let Kath and Chris take the chair on these points.
one thing that
There's only this moment here and now anyway, isn't there, from a Zen perspective? So.
That's a cop-out, Barry. That's a cop-out. Okay. And a very clever cop-out, I admit. But yeah, I mean, you could see, once you get behind Brahman, behind all the years and the lifetimes of Brahma, we may discover, after all, that it is only ever one moment after all. And that the very fact of time, or the very appearance of time, is an illusion or a delusion, as the case may be. Mm.
Yeah. If you want to go more detailed, I've just looked this up. One full breath of the Mahu Vishnu, which I believe is the absolute, lasts for the entire lifespan of the Brahma, who is, as it were, an individual deity which controls a particular universe. And that one breath of the absolute corresponds to 100 years of a Brahma, or 311 trillion, 4 billion human years.
So that's human years, is it?
Yes. So
solar years.
One breath of the absolute corresponds to 311 trillion 311 trillion 40 billion human years. So, I mean, I don't know how people manage to put all these figures together, but they don't seem unreasonable from the point of view of modern cosmology and whatnot.
The thing that really interests me is that these Mahayugas, they cycle through. They're divided into 4, so each Mahayuga contains 4 yugas. And the first yuga, in the English word for it, is the Golden Age, and then we go to the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and then the Iron Age. And the Iron Age is one where everything is going bad. It starts really great. We're almost like gods. And then by the Iron Age, things are in a really bad state. And we've just apparently entered the Iron Age.
Is that the one that's known as the Kali Yuga?
Yes.
Yes.
Kali Yuga. And this is, things are just going to get a lot worse than this now. So that interests me.
Thanks for that, Garth.
Well, yes, it makes me feel much, just as we're having wonderful warm sunshine up here in Manchester. You cast a pall over it, Captain. Okay, I won't blame you. I had heard about this rather distressing approach to the world. So all of this arose out of what, well, more correctly even than I thought, came out of my saying this. What an entertaining and widely diverse word this kalpa is. But here it's used in a very kind of ordinary sense. Kalpate, the Atmanepada, of course, kalpate meaning is fit for, suited for, or almost you could say is made for. Barry, have I set your mind completely at ease over the composition of the word Amrita?
Yes, I fully understand that. Thank you.
It's in fact it's formed without any peculiarities or irregularities at all. We've got the root mri, meaning to die. It's the same one that turns up in Latin as mors, mortis, la mort. It's that same. Incidentally, it's the same word as moor, as in a Dartmoor and so on, because moor is treated as because that was regarded as dead land because you couldn't cultivate it easily. I mean, sheep could just about munch the tough grass, but it wasn't cultivatable land or cultivable land. Called a moor. So mri. Now, regularly forming the past participle, just add ta to the root, we get mrita, which means dead. If you then negate that with the negating amrita, on the face of it, it looks like undead, one of these science fiction films, yeah, The Undead. But in fact, it means immortal.
Suppose the undead would be immortal, wouldn't they? Probably.
Well, that's got a rather kind of nasty, nasty, creepy horror film zombie kind of sense.
I obviously don't watch enough horror films. Can you kill a zombie? I don't know.
Can a zombie what?
Oh, yeah, you could definitely kill a zombie with a wooden stake.
Wooden
The Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, but it's got to be driven through the heart, isn't it? Wooden stake through the heart.
Oh, absolutely.
James.
So Bram Stoker in Dracula informs us.
James, just a question on Amrita. Is it extended to mean liberated? So as in immortal, liberated, enlightened?
In fact, yes. So you're right, it does. So the literal meaning, okay, the very literal meaning is undead, not dead. And then by extension, it's come to mean immortal. But then by extension, you have got that correct, Paola. It does mean that you are led from from ordinary human mortality into a life and experience, a state of being beyond death.
Isn't it something you can drink as well? The drink of the gods, isn't that Amrita as well?
It is the Amrita. It is used as the drink. It is the Amrita, the nectar of the gods. I'll explain nectar in a moment. Lovely word. I only discovered what it was a few weeks ago. So Amrita, and then another form from the root is Amara. So Amrita, undead, Amara also means that does have the meaning of immortal. Amara.
I've come across Amrita as Amritam, as a neuter noun. Is that?
It's both. As a neuter noun, Amritam is that which is immortal, which confers immortality, and as Paladin correctly said, it's the nectar of the gods.
Right.
The nectar
is the concept here the beyond death? Is it beyond samsara and kind of the ocean of existence?
It is indeed, yes. I remember, I can't remember exactly how it went, but the Buddha was saying, there is, O monks, there is the unborn, the undying, the unconditioned. I forget exactly how it goes. He says there is the unborn, the undying, the unconditioned, and his teaching will lead you beyond our existing lives, which are mortal, conditioned, born mortal, conditioned, but the teaching leads you to a state where your state of existence is beyond mortality, birth, conditioning. And that is it was the amritam, amatam, was the word used in Pali. So a common place name in Sanskrit, Vedic and Sanskrit, was a name followed by vati. So vati just means consisting of, composed of, belonging to. And by peculiarity of the phonetics of Vedic, the previous, a short R would always become long R. So we get Amaravati. So Amaravati means something like the abode of the immortals. There is the well-known monastery in England. If anyone wants me to put on a very sour and nasty face, they will mispronounce it as Amaravati. No, it's Amaravati. Amaravati. Now, it's been mentioned, nectar. Paula, is it necros or necros?
Necros.
Necros, thank you. Necros means dead. And we have the Vedic root, Sanskrit tri, meaning to cross, from which we get tara and tara, avatara, something that crosses down. So the word that we have that's come to us via Greek is composed of these two root syllables, nektar, death crossing. So the nektar is that which enables you to cross beyond death. So it's the meaning of nectar, death crossing. By the way, it's that same root tri, to cross, avatara. It's come into Latin as trans, across, transit. And it's come into English as our word through. So you pass from one side to the other side of something, you go through it. It's that same through, from that same thra root. So there we have it, explanation of nectar. Paula, necros, thank you, as in necrosis, necrophilia, that kind of thing, the dead. Does the word nectar exist in that form in Greek?
It's very much used in kind of in Homer and in ancient Greek mythology as the nectar of the gods, the drink of the gods.
Okay,
more generally, without special. I mean, the knowledge that you've just imparted is not really commonly kind of known.
Okay, it may be not commonly known now. Probably was very known to Homer when he used a word like that. In modern Greek, is it nektaron, or how would you say it in modern Greek?
More like kind of in modern Greek and in kind of colloquial language, it would be the exquisite drink that, you know, this is a nectar. It's like the drink of the gods. It's become very simplified, as ambrosia was the food of the gods.
Indeed, so yes.
And nectar was the drink of the gods, but it was never explained as formally as you have here.
Yeah, okay, fine. In fact, I think if you heard the average English person say this beer this wine is absolute nectar, probably only a small number of them would know the actual origin of the word nectar, death crossing. Okay, thank you for that insight from Greek, Paula.
Thank you.
So, look, going back to our text. So got the sun coming. Just going to lower the curtain. Sun's coming across the screen. So I'll read through it once more, and then any further questions, and then we can have a recitation or two. Yang hina vyatayantyete purusham purusharshabha samaduhka sukhandhira somritatvaya kalpate. Before we move on, Kath, in the particular chanting styles that you have learnt, where you have, let me just enlarge this a bit, where you have the anuswaras, the subdotted M before an S, in modern India, or certainly among the Hindi speakers, it would just be pronounced like a nasalized vowel, a bit like the French en France, en. And that's how it would be done. Dira, a Hindi speaker would pronounce it Dira Sumritatvaya. In Pali, it would be pronounced as a M there, dhirangsu. I have seen differing accounts. Some Brahmins, or some accounts given by Brahmins, go as far as to say that the S is treated as a dental, and so it becomes dhiransu. So dhiransu, dhiransu, dhiransu. I don't think you can say that any of them are wrong, but which particular style, if any, were you taught, Kath?
It would be pronounced as a nasalized, just as a nasal sound.
As a pure nasal sound, without, okay, dhiransu.
Before the S and before the...
Dhiransu. Okay, right. So that's how I would expect to hear it if chanted by somebody who was influenced by Hindi or was a native Hindi speaker. And for all we know, it could well have been done like that from earliest times. So this nasal sound we have in the languages of northern India, and possibly right back to Vedic. I think in among the modern European languages, I think I'm right in saying that only French has it. So it's a fairly rare sound, or fairly unique to France, this nasalized sound. Anyway, those of us who have French, either because we've learnt it or who have it as a native language like Madeleine, will find this vowel problem-free. Dhiran, so. But if you pronounce it as dhiran, so, you certainly aren't wrong, and even I've seen the dhiran as pronouncing it as a pure N as being given. It's a matter of taste. It doesn't really. The only time that you need to be careful about how you're pronouncing the anuswara is, basically if you're chanting in unison. I do a fair amount of that in Pali, and you want to get that right. So I'll read it once through and take any more questions, then we'll recite. So, yang he. By the way, notice that the yang, I pronounced it with a ng sound there. Yang he. I've seen various ideas how to do it, but the one that I give credence to, rightly or wrongly, I don't know, is that in ancient times this h was treated as a laryngeal, treated exactly as a g or a k for these purposes. So it's say yang he. But again, if you want to say yang he or yan he, I don't think anyone can say that you're wrong. Oops. So yang hinavyatayantyete purusham purusharshabha samaduhka sukhandhirang sumritatvaya kalpate. So, Shri Animala, would you like to recite this verse for us, please?
Yes, let me try. Yam hinavyantayate yete. Yam hinavyantayanti yete. Purusham purusharshabha. Samadukka sukham dhiram. Somurtatvaya kalpate.
Okay, right. I notice, interestingly, that you pronounce the dukkha in a very Pali kind of way. Remember, in Sanskrit, it's transliterated as the visarga, the subdotted H, and then the ka. Dukkha. And in Pali, that just becomes a double gate. So dukkha in Pali, dukkha in so I just noted dukkha. Okay. So could you just say it again, but in a Sanskrit way? Samadukka sukham.
Samadukka sukham dhiram.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Barry, would you like to give us a go?
Yeah. Yang hina vyathatyantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhirang sumritatvaya kalpate.
That was very nice. What particularly struck my ear then was the way you pronounced the visarga before the ka. You pronounced it in a very pre-classical Vedic way.
Oh, wow.
Showing your inclinations there. Classical Sanskrit would tend to pronounce as a duh sound, duhka, whereas in Vedic times it's more likely duhka, almost like the Greek sound, influenced by the following ka. So you will hear that actually in Vedic chanting, that the visarga before a ka comes out a bit like a sound. Not always, but you will sometimes hear it. And the same happens to the visarga before a p. It'll take on a slight F tone. Ba, not ba. But that's a very refined point, which came to you naturally, Barry.
Oh, yes, of course.
So, Madeleine, would you like to give us a chant of it or a recite?
Okay, just recite. Yam hi na yatayantyete te purusham purusharshabha sama tukha sukham dhiram som mritatvaya kalpate.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to do this bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Again, it's Yanghina Vyatayantiete.
Yatayantyete.
Okay, right.
Yam hi na vyatayantyete.
Now, you pronounced it there a little bit as if it was two words. Vyatayantiete, which it is with the Sandhi Vigra, but Vyatayantiete in running Sanskrit.
Vyatayanti ete.
Okay,
you pronounce it separately?
Okay, I highlighted the bit in the third box where I've broken up the sandhi to show how each word appears individually. Here I've shown it with a word division, which you don't get in the Devanagari. But here in the top box, I've shown it exactly reflecting the Devanagari pronunciation. So just say Vyatayantiete.
Vyatayantiete.
That was good. Yeah, that was correct. That was a very nice sandhi done there. Thank you, Anne. Okay. Madeleine, please, we're round to you.
Yes. Yanhina vyatayantiete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram so mritadvaya kalpate.
Okay, very good. I don't know whether it was because the sound didn't come through very clearly, but how did you pronounce this anuswara there? It sounded to me like a dhirangsu.
Dhiranso.
Dhirangsu, okay, right. That was
is it correct?
Well, it's a slightly parlified. If it was the same sound as in singing a song.
I am not able to pronounce the nasal N.
But you're a native French speaker, are you not, Madeleine?
Yeah, but I don't think you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that in all my education in French that I use the N as a nasal sound. I usually pronounce it like a plain N. N.
But how would you say?
Yes.
How would you say? For example, something like "Nous aimons la France." Nous aimons la France.
Moi, je dis on.
Exactly. That was the nasal sound. The same sound that Kath was describing.
but it comes from my throat, not from my nose. Oh,
In fact,
from the back of my throat.
it comes from the back of the throat, but with the sound coming out of the N. It's a laryngeal nasal.
But when I say it, do you hear it as nasal?
I did, yes.
Yes?
When you're speaking French, yes.
Yeah, okay. So now I can say that I pronounce it correctly as you are teaching, right?
So,
without knowing that it is.
So yes, so say this in a French way, diran so.
Diran so.
Oh, that came out as an N. I don't think it matters. In fact, there are many Brahmins who pronounce it in exactly that way. But I think you're fine as you are. Nobody can say it's wrong.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Madeleine.
Thank you.
Sure. Chris, we're round to you.
Yam hina vyata yant yete purusham purusa sabaha samaduka sukang dirang somri tat va ya kalpate.
Make it a bit more firm, the amritatvaya, somritatvaya.
Somritatvaya.
Exactly, no. Somritatvaya kalpate.
Kalpate.
Right. Okay, very good.
Been practicing, James.
It shows you're making good progress, Chris. So, Kath, should we have a Brahmanical chant from you?
I remembered, I've just remembered that if you're taking a breath after the Anuswara, so if I was taking a breath after Dhiram, I would pronounce it as Dhiram.
Dhiram with just an ordinary M sound.
Yes, if I was, and I'd probably, it could go either way, to take a breath there in the middle or not.
Okay, that actually is right, because this the rule isn't the same in Pali, but in Sanskrit, the anuswara, literally the after sound, the following sound, never occurs at the end of a line or at the end of a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It only occurs within a word group, within a word or within a word group, with an immediately following consonant. Wherever, if, for example, the next word were to begin with a vowel, it wouldn't be the anuswara, it would revert to an ordinary M. Equally, if you're taking a pause, because the anuswara is caused by the direct conjunction of two sounds, the nasal at the end of one word and whatever sound it is that starts the next one, the anuswara is always pronounced in conjunction with something else. So back to your point, if you're taking a pause, if you're taking a breath, you disjoin, you break that conjunction, and it now reverts to being an M. So you wouldn't write it like that, but if you're chanting and pausing for breath, and you know that you're going to pause at that moment, it just reverts to an ordinary M, then you breathe, then you carry on. But that's an interesting point, that if you're pausing for breath, it would revert to an M. Mm-hmm. I hadn't thought of that, but yes, I see. Okay, here we go.
Yang hina vyatayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukhandiram sumritatvaya kalpate.
You paused for breath after the first pada and before the second pada. And again, I don't know how clear my sound was, but it sounded like an ordinary M, slight pause, then the second pada. Did you pronounce that as an M there?
I did, yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, all flowing smoothly then. So we're round to you, Paulin.
Beautiful chants, very hard to follow.
Have a go, Paulin, have a go.
I'm not going to try and chant it, but I will say it. Yanghina Vyatayantyete Purusham Purusharshaba Sammadukka Sukham Dhiram Somritatvaya Kalpate.
Okay, very good. Can you just pronounce this Dhiram Somritatvaya Kalpate? How did it come out from you?
Dhiram Somritatvaya Kalpate.
Did you pronounce that as an M?
It was meant to be slightly nasal, but it may have not have come out as I
Okay,
intended.
right. If provided the intention was there. Okay, good. So before we move on, we've got time to move on to the next one. Any comments or queries about this?
Can I just make a point? I'm a singer, and can I just make a point about what Madeline said about the nasal sound and aiming to come from her throat? Because all the sounds come from the vocal cords. What makes the difference is the resonance, how the resonance is managed. The nasal sound, it feels as though it's coming from the nose, but it's actually coming from the larynx by raising the tongue so that the vibration is directed up into the nasal cavity. So from a normal sort of if you raise your tongue, but the actual vibration is not coming from your nose. The actual vibration is coming from the vocal cords.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I think you can always say that the vibration is coming from the vocal cords.
Yeah, it's the only place it can come from. But the sound is molded by the rest of the.
Exactly, the sound is molded, of course, by the other vocal organs. But the point of nasals, the group of nasals, the m, n, n, is that yes, of course, the resonance comes from the vocal cords. But the meaning of nasal here is that the air, the flow of air, is exiting through the nose, not through the mouth. To just say, make a long your lips are tight shut, and the flow of air is all through the nose. So that's a labial nasal. Labial because pronounced at the lips, with the lips closed. Equally, with an N sound, make it no air is exiting through the mouth. It's exiting through the nose. And likewise with the other ones. So yeah, because you blocked as far back as you can in the vocal organs with the back of the same place as you pronounce a k or a g. If you're an Arabic speaker, you pronounce it even further back as a k, but the calf, but we don't do that in English. But if you block the passage of air there, but allow it to come through the nose, that's with the sound.
It's worst when if you want to pronounce in Arabic. Yes.
Or even worse is the ha, the haq, al-haq, al-huquq. Let's not get into Arabic phonetics now, much though I enjoy them.
You know, it's a very funny thing in my family. I have the son of my cousin is born in Canada and he speaks English, which is his mother tongue because his mother is English.
Yes.
And they never taught him Arabic.
Oh.
But sometimes he say a word in Arabic like that and he pronounced the kha. I said, oh, I'm surprised that you are able to pronounce kha, as if it's in the genes. As if,
I wonder if there's that.
And then my cousin told me, yes, it's a genes from his father that is able to pronounce kha.
Whether there's some kind of an ancestral memory
yeah,
that is kind of there deep within. I wonder
yes,
if that
yes,
could, if
it's
that
very,
that that
very, very
could be
strange.
so.
I was surprised, and then my cousin is very fluent in Arabic, in English, in French, and he explained to me. Yes, he said yes. He nodded. Yes, yes. He something in the genes that make him pronounce the ha.
Very interesting theory. Yeah.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Mm. Oh,
Oh,
so
James,
Chris,
if just to cheer you up about the Kali Yuga,
I need a bit of cheering up after what we've heard.
which is characterized by ignorance, intense conflict, and the lower spiritual consciousness. Apparently, things are set. The general notion, I believe, from what I was told in my days with Advaita Vedanta, that things get so bad that there's more incentive to seek liberation, moksha, uh, from the circumstances in which you find yourself. I don't know if that helps.
Actually, I think it does really well. Try and look on the bright side of life, as the song went at the end of the life of Brian. But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's a well known within Buddhist mythology, for example, that if you've lived a life, with a certain goodness and virtue enough to qualify you to be born in one of the Deva realms, you are not enlightened. But on the other hand, the good karma that you've generated in your life leads you to rebirth in a Deva realm. Now, it's a bit of a honey trap there, because it can be very pleasant, but very unenlightened. It's
Yes.
like lying in a beautiful warm bed and you just don't want to get out, and there's nothing you have to get up for. So there's no incentive there. And then eventually, and if you are in a Deva realm, once you've exhausted the good karma, back you come to samsara. So you've made a very good point. That is a cheering point. It just gets so awful that you're spurred more and more and more towards the nissarana from. Yes, please come in.
Some of my Buddhist Hindu friends, they, instead of seeking liberation, they want to be reborn in the Deva realm, where they will wait for the next Buddha, the Maitreya Buddha, and then they'll come down.
That actually, now come to think of it, that is a very shrewd strategy. I know I'm not going to be enlightened, but at least I'm going to be in a very pleasant place until the next Buddha comes. Then I'll go down, and then I'll hear the teaching direct from the Buddha.
Depends how long it takes, though. You might not stay there for long enough.
You see, there's Paladin throwing a spanner in the works.
Bit of ripening karma throws you out before he arrives, and you could be somewhere else
You've got
entirely.
to, because maybe you don't have a choice when you're about the time that you're expelled from the Deva realm. That's the whole point. The ripening karma, as Paladin mentioned, is when that karma, so the karma will take you there, but when it's exhausted, back you come. So you've got to have it's like getting to the petrol station on your last teaspoon of petrol. If you want to play it that way, you've got to make damn sure you get it right. Otherwise, you could be expelled from a Deva realm into the very pit of the Kali Yuga, when things are even worse than you could have imagined. Probably a safer bet to go for all-out enlightenment. Sorry, Barry. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say the Deva realm could be quite boring, actually, because there'd be nothing to compare your joyful existence with. You'd just be sort of sitting there with nice sunshine, drinking gin and tonic, and is this all there is to the Deva realm? But I think in Buddhism the Deva realm is just as good, bad as any of the other realms. It's part of the wheel, isn't it?
It's certainly part of the wheel.
Yeah.
In fact, what you said reminded me of there was somebody, Cook and Dudley Moore. What was the name of Cook? Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
Thank you. I remember that they did a sketch, and they'd found that they'd arrived in heaven. There they were sitting on a cloud and wearing their angel's wings. Oh, where are we? There's people. Oh, we're in heaven. All right, what do we do here? We play harps and sing praises to God. Okay. How long for? Millions and millions of years. And then Dudley Moore says, oh, I'm bored already. So, so yes, you're right. You could get rather bored with these bland pleasures.
The one I always remember of Pete and Dudley is the one where they're sitting in the art gallery. Do you remember that one with the eyes follow you around, Pete, everywhere you go? Yes, Dad, yes, they do tend to follow you around, don't they?
Ah, the good old-fashioned humor.
James, I have a quick question about Amaravati.
Amaravati, yes.
Yeah, so this is Sanskrit, and so it's translated as the abode of the immortals. Would
Exactly.
it be translated differently in Pali? Like abode of the liberated, or?
Not exactly translated. It's as if we've got the basic root meaning, the basic physical root meaning of that word just means immortal. And then it's as it were by philosophical extension of meaning, it comes to mean liberated in the sense of liberated from the cycle of birth and death. But that's just by an extension of meaning. Okay, so if you're looking at the actual linguistic meaning, just immortal, but the extended meaning is the deathless in the sense of a realm where you are liberated from being born and from dying.
Okay, thank you.
And we've got that chant, Asato ma sadgamaya. You know that one, don't you, Kath? Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, from the darkness lead us to the light. Mrityor ma mritangamaya, from death lead me to the amritang, to the immortal. That doesn't mean that you're in a human body just getting older and older and older. It means that you are actually beyond the process of being born and dying. But the actual root meaning of the word means undying. So we'll just dip into the first verse, then I have to shoot off my next meeting. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontas dvanayos tattvadarshibhi. So this very word in the chant I gave, the asato ma sadgamaya. So asat means either non-being, that which is not, or unreal. From the unreal lead me to the real, literally from the unbeing lead me to that which truly is. And this is asata, which is it's the genitive of the participle. It's the root as, meaning to be. Present participle stem is sant. It drops off the initial a, so sant, and the neuter form is sat. Om tat sat. Om, that is true, that is real, that is what truly is. The genitive is satah, of the true, of the real. And this asat, the ah here is the negating ah. So asata is of that which is unreal, or more linguistically accurately, of that which does not exist, of that which does not truly exist. So na asata vidyate bhava. Bhava means, well, it's from the root be, just means being. Vidyate means it is known or it is seen, literally. but very commonly used just to mean there is, it exists, like the French il y a, and na vidyate, il n'y a pas, il n'y en a pas, na vidyate, it does not exist. So na asato bhavo vidyate, not of the unbeing is there any being. In other words, that which truly is cannot not be. There's a double negative here. Na asata, not of the unbeing. And the same idea is expressed in the second pada. I'll read it from this one. Na bhavo vidyate sataha. The satah then is the genitive form, of which we have seen the asata here, negated genitive, of the non-being. This is of the being. So of the being, of that which is, of that which truly is, na vidyate abhava, no non-being is found. So in idiomatic English, we could put it like that which truly is cannot not be, and that which is not cannot be. Ubhayorapi drishtun tastvanayos tattvadarshibhi. So ubhayorapi, ubhayo is of both. Of both these extremes. Ubhayorapi drishtaha and tastu becomes drishtun tastu. So the end or the reality, have I done an explanation here? Yeah. A conclusion, the final seeing of reality. So the reality of both of these, the anta, the reality of both of these, ubayo aneo, of both these, drishtaha is seen, from the drish to see, drishtah, tattva darshibhi is seen by the reality seers, so tattva. So tat means that. Tattva makes it into an abstract, and thatness, so thatness means that which really is. So a tattva darshan is a reality seer. This is our standard form of a word ending in, like yoga, yogin. This is the ablative plural where the N drops. So it's not darshindhi, but darshibhi, by the seers. Tattva darshibhi, by the reality seers.
It's the instrumental, isn't it?
What did I say?
Ablative.
I'm so sorry. You're right. Glad you're on the ball, Paladin. Absolutely. It is the instrumental. So it's by the reality seers. What did I put here? Oh yeah, I got that right. So 3, yeah, it's instrumental. Thank you for picking me up. Helps to keep my elderly brain awake, Paladin. Okay, I will bid you goodbye now with thanks for joining me, and see you next time round. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
James.
you.
James, sorry, when is next time in terms of the Easter holidays and things like that?
Where are we now? 11th, 11 and 14 is 25. We're still a week away from Easter, so I'm proposing to meet in two weeks' time.
Excellent, thank you.
And then it'll be Easter after that. So yes, in 2 weeks' time, I'm proposing to meet as usual.
Thank you, James.
Okay.
Have
Okay,
a good rest of the day.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.